Historically, decisions have been made for the disability community without the disability community. Historically, parents and family members were the first ones to start advocating, and they had the best of intentions.
That is until now. In July 2020, Dr. Josie Badger, a disability rights champion, and the Women and Girls Foundation launched TRAIL, which stands for Training Regional Advocates to Impact Legislation. They also received support from Family Values at Work. Since then, the Heinz Endowments, FISA Foundation, and BNY Mellon Foundation of Southwestern Pennsylvania awarded additional funding to advance the work.
It's our turn to have a voice at the table and to tell leaders what we want out of life and how to help us to get that. It's important for all of us to be able to pursue a full range of opportunities, and that is often what we're missing.
I think that any member of a minority group always experiences people speaking over them, because people think that, I can help, your community by using my voice. I think people with disabilities should definitely be included in policy discussions. We should be included in all kinds of discussions when it comes to things about people with disabilities. The best way to learn what a minority group needs is to ask that minority group and not try to assume what we may need in your opinion.
We are all part of society, and as members of society, we all deserve to have a say. If you're not disabled, then if you're not in a wheelchair, you don't know what it's like to the struggles that we go through, and so it's good to let the disabled community speak up for what needs to be changed in the community, because they're the ones that live it and they're the ones that deal with it on a daily basis.
TRAIL trained nearly 50 people with disabilities on how to propel their voices to the center of such policy discussions. The members participated in a 10-month training program and advocated for important issues, such as paid family and medical leave at local, state, and national levels.
TRAIL formed as a way to gather more advocates in the disability community. A lot of the advocates in the disability community, especially in Pennsylvania, are older advocates in my experience. And if there's no one there to carry that legacy, then all the work that they've done is kind of gonna go to the wayside. And so TRAIL was made, in my opinion, to bring up that group to say, hey, this is how you advocate.
Self-advocacy is the best way to get the correct message and correct supports that you need. We all have support networks, as we've discussed before. And while they have a great understanding, because they're kind of in the trenches with us day to day, they're not living it, they're living beside it. I do think that we are needed to be our own best self-advocate. People definitely often want to speak for us. And I think that it's so important for people with disabilities to be involved in policy-making discussions, because the policies that are made for people with disabilities, we're the ones that can best speak to the challenges and obstacles that we face and how the creation of the policy will make things better.
To make things better, TRAIL members published opinion pieces in newspapers and appeared in television reports. They met with elected officials, coordinated candidate forums, and successfully secured support from state and federal leaders for the Family Care Act. They also advocated for increased access to employment and higher education, as well as improved wages and working conditions for caregivers.
When I first learned what advocacy was, I knew I wanted to get involved. I just wasn't sure how I would be able to do so effectively. I knew that if I wanted to connect with legislators and state representatives, that I needed to speak their language and learn the language in order to efficiently and effectively create changes. I think what's most important for people to know is that the Trails Advocacy Program was a very vital piece of my advocacy. Without it, I wouldn't have been able to shape the important parts of my experiences, to shape it into a story that connected the proper way with legislators in order for me to be able to create the changes that I'm well on my way of creating, and that anyone can be an advocate. The younger, the better.
I am always looking to learn how to be a better advocate. I became an advocate just out of what felt like necessity, but I really appreciated being able to have kind of some formal training. It's hard on your own to learn what to do and who to contact and what to say, to be compelling and how to make sure that you're heard. So I really appreciated that. And I really appreciated the chance to connect with other advocates. I think that community is just so important. And so being able to connect with people who were passionate about the same things that I was just huge for me.
Being an advocate, I like it, and it shows people like, yeah, if I believe in something, I'm gonna stick up for it. Yeah, I might not always be the first, but yeah, I'm gonna be behind someone. If I believe in something, I'm gonna say something about it in some form, because that's what an advocate is, sticking up for something you believe in or following a cause. People with disabilities are gonna be affected by the same things as everyone else is gonna be affected by.
Trail was created to train people with disabilities to be lobbyists and advocates. We have a lot of family members, loved ones who are advocating, but we have fewer people with disabilities at the decision-making table. And those voices need to be heard. There are decisions being made about us without us, and we need to be there to make sure that those decisions that people without disabilities are making are going to positively affect our lives, or at least not negatively affect them. And so it's really important to provide that training to populations who are not being trained right now.
In all, Trail successfully graduated 2 cohorts of advocates who continue to advance disability rights. For more information or to find out how you can support the program, email trail@wgfpa.org.